What is up, everybody? You are very, very welcome along to this Anfield Agenda Premier League preview video. How great is it to be back talking about football? I'm over the moon. The Reds are taking on Newcastle in the early kickoff, 12:30 p.m. on Saturday, and I will, of course, be hosting a watch-along over here on Anfield Agenda in association with Boyle Sports. In this video, I'm going to take you through my score prediction for the game and my starting 11 prediction, and then towards the end of the video, I'll cut to a section where I caught up with Leon Blanche from Boyle Sports earlier on today. We spoke about the European Super League, we spoke about the predictions of the betting odds for this one, but before that, let's get to the main part. Let's get to my predictions both in the score and starting 11. As always, we'll start off with the score prediction, ladies and gentlemen, and I've gone bold for this one. This is what I've gone with. Liverpool to beat Newcastle by 3-0. Why am I so confident? I just feel like we've got off the hook a little bit this week. Chelsea are going to be playing West Ham at the weekend, but Chelsea also dropped points during the week. On Monday night, it looked like we may get out of Leeds with the 3 points, but Leeds got a deserved late equaliser, and we wondered if our top 4 chances had evaporated. Well, thankfully, Chelsea also dropped points, maybe both clubs a little bit distracted by what was going on in the background, and we have a chance to put the pressure on by kicking off this weekend with the early kick-off. So that's why I'm going for a 3-0 win. I think Jurgen Klopp and the boys are going to want to lay down a marker and make this last big push to try and get ourselves back into a Champions League spot before the end of the season. With that in mind, let's have a little look at my predicted 11 as well for this one. So bear in mind, this is what I'm predicting Liverpool to go with at the weekend. So here we go. Alisson Becker in goal, ladies and gentlemen. Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. Andy Robertson at left back. Now, we know that Nat Phillips is probably going to be ruled out of this one. He's carrying an knock, so it looks like we'll probably have Fabinho alongside Ozan Kabak. I can already hear people saying to me, Craig, what about Ben Davies? The problem for me is it's the great unknown. We don't know anything about Ben Davies in this Liverpool system. We haven't seen him play a minute of football yet under Jurgen Klopp. So it's very difficult to go into another game that we can't afford to drop any more points. We can't go into this game with the unknown. So as much as we'd be losing from Fabinho being in midfield, I'm going to start him alongside Kabak for me. Then we go into the midfield. And as you can see, I've gone for a 4-2-3-1, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have to go all out attacking. The amount of chances we've spurned recently just been astronomical. Mohamed Salah hasn't had his shooting boots on so much lately, but look, we can forgive him for that. He's our top goal scorer this season, and he's going to have an eye on that golden boot as well, with Harry Kane currently injured. So I've gone for a 4-2-3-1. The three, of course, for me, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah, with Diogo Jota ahead of them. I think we need to be attacking. I've gone for Jimmy Milner in midfield instead of Gini Wijnaldum because I've been very impressed. I've been impressed with Jimmy Milner's leadership. I've been impressed with his ability to drive forward. I've been impressed with his energy levels. And even if we only get 60-65 minutes out of Jimmy, I think that this is a game that he deserves to start in. And I think it's a game that we need him to start in. So that's my predicted 11, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I want to know what you guys think about it. Please do let me know your score prediction, your thoughts on my starting 11 and what your starting 11 would be. And as I said to you guys earlier on, I caught up with Leon from Boyle Sports earlier on today. Newcastle game. But Leon, I can't let you come on, mate, without first getting your opinion on the Super League, if it can still be called that.
No, let's not even call it that because it's nothing. It's dead. It's buried. The most ludicrous move I've ever seen by any owner or any executive who had anything got to do with this. It was wrong in every aspect of it. Nothing of it even made sense to the ordinary football fan like you and I, Craig. And that's what football is. It's about the likes of you and I. It's about those institutions that are over 100 years old. It's about what it does to a community, what it does for a city, what it does for every single person that lives and breathes in that town. It's their club. And that's what it will always be. Owners will come and go, but football clubs, hopefully, will never do so.
One thing I want the viewers to know is you've spent time living in the States. You were over there, you follow NFL, and this to me just seemed like a group of owners from Stan Kroenke, from the Glazers, and from John W. Henry's perspective, who are used to getting their way in America if they jump up and down, threaten to pull their franchise from a city, want better tax breaks, want the local government to build them a stadium. It seemed like a group of people who aren't used to the word no, Leo.
Yeah, and you see, the biggest mistake they made is Liverpool Football Club or any one of those other 5 Premier League clubs. We're not a franchise. We're a football club. We were built in that city, for the people, for the fans, for the players, for the manager. It's not about who owns. There'll be different custodians right through time for every single football club, but it's not a franchise. The whole thought of never having to qualify or never be relegated, that is an American ideal. That is how they run their leagues, and that's totally fine because that's what is done in America. But that is not what's done across Europe, across the big football leagues. It's all about that competitive nature. It's all about trying to finish as high as you possibly can to try and get into European football. It's always been the dream. And talk about a pyramid system. Look at the smaller clubs, Craig, in the lower divisions over in the United Kingdom. They have the aspiration in England to make it up to the Premier League. That's the dream of every club across those 4 divisions and then even into non-league football. That's what they're striving to do. If you take away that from them and you take away the competitive nature of the Premier League, it would trickle right down the pyramid because everything else would be null and void. There's no point in playing Premier League games if you were one of these so-called big 6 because nothing mattered. It didn't matter if you lost 10-0 or you won 10-0. You were still guaranteed European football every season. So I, for one, and I know you are, and you've been banging on the drum for days on end about this, the football community came together. And it is amazing how quickly something that was wrong could be overturned. There's an awful lot still wrong with racism, with different aspects of what's continuing to happen in football. I wish the football community would come together more often and more quickly, like we all did in relation to defeating the nonsense of whatever that league they wanted to call it.
Yeah, the trick is there, it wasn't even actually called the European Super League. It was just called the Super League because their plans were to maybe bring over the likes of a Boca Juniors, River Plate and stuff eventually as well. Look, we'll get back to actual football, and we've seen the revamped Champions League, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of this new Swiss model system, and that's another problem. But we do have Premier League football to get back to this Saturday. And the thing that's annoyed me this week, Leon, is we dropped points against Leeds on Monday, and look, we'll never know if the players were distracted and that caused them to drop the points or not, but it didn't help. We know that. And now, thankfully, Chelsea dropped some points, and there's a massive game between Chelsea and West Ham taking place this weekend, but we kick it all off on Saturday, early against Newcastle. What are you thinking?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a must-win, Craig. I think looking at the Leeds game, just quickly on reflection, we probably did enough in the first half to win the game, but Leeds certainly did enough in the second half to get something from the game. I think that's a fair reflection on that game. Look, there was a lot of stuff happening. Who knows? But again, our lack of finishing in front of goal came back to haunt us once again. Delighted for Saudio. Brilliant bravery by Trent to get there in front of the goalkeeper and to set him up. Hopefully with Saudio, he hasn't had the best of seasons. The same can be said about Firmino. When you look at Jota being joint top second scorer and he was missing for 3 months, I think that goes to show you where the problems really lie. It's not just about losing players to injury. It's about not finishing off our chances. Newcastle, maybe we're getting them at a good time, Craig. Results have kind of gone their way. I think they're safe for another season in the Premier League, and we have to win this game. We've got 6 games left. I think with minimum we've got to win 5. And then because I say 5 is because we've got Manchester United away from home next. That's a huge game. But I just think Liverpool at the minute, 15 or 16 points. I think we've got a good chance of finishing in those top 4 places. Our run is not as bad as some of our sides around us, the likes of Leicester and West Ham. They've got some big, tough games coming up. Chelsea are still in the Champions League, of course. But we've just got to concentrate now. No more wasteful opportunities in front of goal. Let's try and get a couple of goals. Against Newcastle, they're normally great games with the fans involved. There's going to be no one there. Our home record hasn't been good. However, we came from behind against Aston Villa to win 2-1 after not winning in the last 6 or 7 home league games. So I'm hoping, Craig, we can get the job done.
If anyone fancies a little flutter this weekend on the game, what would you urge them towards, or what would your tips be?
Yeah, look, there's no point going near Liverpool, Craig, really, in terms of the match odds. Like, they're 1-4, so there's no point in even getting that. I think Liverpool to win 0. I don't actually see Newcastle causing us too many problems. I'm going to stick with Saudio, actually, to score first, because having waited, 10 games to not score, to get his goal, yes, he came off and he was still a little bit kind of sulky, but I don't mind that because he wants to play every minute of every match. I think Saudio could represent the value at 11-2 to score first against Newcastle. I'm assuming Jurgen's going to play him. I think he might go back to the three quick boys up front with Jota, Mane and Salah. Who knows what he'll do? Maybe he'll even play Bobby, because this is a game really, Craig. Let's go out there and let's impose ourselves on Newcastle and let's try and get the game done in the first half. Let's take our chances. And I have a feeling between now and the end of the season, we're going to click on one particular game. And don't be surprised if we get 3, 4, or maybe even 5 goals in one match. We just need to start taking those chances like we did all that time ago against Crystal Palace. It just needs to click for us. And hopefully this Saturday might just be the day.
Fingers crossed. These kickoffs always make me nervous, buddy, but I'm sure we'll be in contact ahead of the United game as well. And it's been great fun catching up, Leon. And thankfully, we're not sitting here talking about Liverpool potentially being thrown out of the league and off into this Super League nonsense that none of us wanted. It's common sense has prevailed, mate, and it's not very often we get to say that in football.
No, and I think, in fairness to the Premier League or whoever the governing bodies are in the UK, I think it's become clear that a point deduction is the wrong way about this, because you're actually hurting the people who had nothing, absolutely nothing got to do with this whole concept. So I'm glad that that seems to be taken on board. That's what we're hearing, that there's not going to be a points deduction. And I think Gary Neville, in fairness to him, probably got it spot on at the start. We need to target the individuals and the people who are behind this idea, because it's their fault. It's nobody else's fault. And I think players and management, they had nothing got to do with this. And the most important people who especially had nothing got to do with this are the fans. And football without fans, it means nothing.
We can get back to football and matters, as I said, this weekend. That game against Newcastle, we will be starting our watch along of it on midday here on Saturday. As you can see, we have finally hit the 100,000 subscriber mark. I want to take a second just to say thank you to you guys, to Connor, to all the moderators, to everyone that's commented and everyone that's helped get Anfield Agenda to this position. We're not going to stop here, folks. We always want to keep pushing ahead and looking ahead. And that starts with the game against Newcastle coming up this Saturday. I hope to see you there. We'll have a late night agenda in between now and then as well. And lots of stuff coming up on Mundo Sporto, which is our sister channel. Well, I'll be doing watch-alongs of other Premier League games over the course of the weekend on there as well. You can find the link to Mundo Sporto below in the description of the stream. And as always, a special thank you to Boyle Sports, without whom we wouldn't have been able to push on and do what we've done this season. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Enjoy the good weather. The Premier League is back. The Super League is dead. Up the Reds.